Hello, good evening, and welcome to LimbicTV. On another cold night in this winter of discontent. Um, got something a bit different tonight. We've got a bit of storytelling from Rosamund McCormack and Sophia Ann West, and that will be followed by uh, a set from Chris Glen, who's got some exciting news for us. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks so much for coming down. There you are. So, all in your little boxes, completely isolated.
I've got the biggest box.
You've got the biggest box, Chris.
It's no competition.
You do. Yeah. You've got quite good boxes though.
Aye, they're
I'm just
cozy.
looking at them on the screen. But Chris, you've got an EP out, don't you?
Straight to the chase, man.
Yeah.
We Live EP just released 2 days ago.
Great. And so you're going to play some of that for us later on, aren't you?
I'll play a few of those and some other things, yeah.
Great, brilliant. Okay, and Rosamund and Sophia, you're going to tell us stories.
Yes.
Who's going to go first?
That'll be me. Yeah, so.
Is it you?
Yeah, that'll be me. Aye.
Okay. Fabulous. There you go. That's Brian's just setting the mood with the lighting.
Magic.
Okay, so what are you going to kick us off with?
So I'm going to kick us off with a story called Stone Soup. But first, I'd like us all to sort of just feel the sensation a little bit. And I'd like you to imagine that you're looking at this wee simmering fire. It's crackling away, it's warm. Hopefully there's not too much smoke in your eyes. And you've got yourself a wee bev, or a cup of tea, or a bit of water, you got to stay hydrated. And we're all going to cozy in. Like maybe you got some good warm layers, a blanket over your knee. And we're going to rock into some stories. So, this first story, Stone Soup. It follows these three wee travellers. They would like to go from town and place to place, and they had quite a few skills under their hats and many a feather to their cap. They would do odd jobs here and there, and sometimes their purses were clinking with coins, and they'd eat well, they'd drink well, they'd be warmed by a wee fire. But then other times they'd sort of fall on slightly harder times, maybe not so many jobs, or there's just not any work going around. Well, can we not empathise with that? And in those times, they were wily, they had their ways. And it was one of these such times that they were on when they rocked up to this wee village. And they're walking along, and they find themselves kind of going, right, like, we've not got two peas to rub together. We might as well give this a go. And they rock up to the house, and they give a wee chap on the door. They say, excuse me, we're wondering if you might have anything to spare for our pot this evening. And the person opened the door, this wee wifey, she goes, oh, I'm really sorry actually, it's been a bit of a tough year for us. We've not got much left in the larder, but I don't know, wish you luck, hope you find something. And they go, oh, no bother at all, I can understand the hard times, it does happen, it does happen. And they go, all right. They say, bye, hope you find something. Oh, aye, if we find anything, we'll invite you along. And they carry on, they go up to the next door, and they go, wee chap. The door opens. This old man, he's kind of hunched over. He's like, what can I do for you? They go, well, sorry to bother you, but like we found ourselves rocking up here and we're travelling folk, and we've got no food and no money in our purse to buy anything. We're wondering if you might have a little something that you could spare. And this man, he goes, oh, no, we've had some rats in. We've had some rats. They've eaten everything. Sorry, can't spend anything. Spare anything? Nah. They go, oh dear, man. Really sorry to hear that. Like, if we get anything, you're more than welcome. You can come to our hearth anytime. so the door closes. And they carry on, and they rock up to the next house. And the next house. Nothing. No one's got anything to spare. They kind of look at one another and they go, confer. You know what? I think I know what we might be needing. Stone soup. Yeah, stone soup, man. Oh, man, I've not had that in ages. Right, okay, you on the fire. So one of them gets set, kindling, logs on, like getting that crackling nice and warm, getting the embers going. Someone else heads down to the water edge, they fill up their pot with water, they're bringing that back. And meanwhile, the third guy, he's set up a wee tripod to pop it on. And just as the water's starting to get to a good simmer, they bring out some stones. And into the pot they go. Do you smell that? Oh, yeah, man, I love the stone soup. It's so good. So tasty. And it just happens as they're there, like rubbing their tummies, feeling like, oh, yummy, dinner time. One of the first door they'd walked up to, the wee wifey, she passes by and she's like, oh, so you found something, did you? They're like, oh, yeah. And it's like, what's for tea? Stone soup. Aye, stone soup. Oh, man, I love stone soup. And she's like, what? Stone soup? Yeah, stone soup, have you not heard of it? And they're like, no. And they're like, yeah, it's almost ready. You know, it's a kind of like maybe half an hour off. It's like, you got to get the good flavours out of the stones, you know. Oh, they're really tasty ones. But, you know, we're kind of missing a couple of garnishes, you know, just a little something to, like, just round it out. And the wifey, she kind of takes a wee step back and has this wee face. Oh, you know, do you think, I've just remembered, I have a wee couple of carrots in the back of the larder. I totally forgot when you came by earlier, but maybe I could bring those along, chop them up, pop them in, and you give me a bit of that stone soup. They're like, oh man, of course, yeah, come along, that'd be great. Yeah, bring it on. So she hurries off, she heads to her pantry, she picks up those carrots that were sitting in the back corner, like, you know, anyway. And she comes back, chops them up, pops in the broth. And they're bubbling away and like, next thing you know, this wee guy that they chapped in the door of, he kind of toddles past, going to go, I don't know, check something out. He's had a wee curtain twitch, gone, oh, there's something going on over there. Pops down, he's like, so, what's for dinner? And you're like, stone soup. Yeah, have you no heard of it? Said the wee wifey. Yeah, it's a delicacy. You'd like it, wouldn't you? Aye. And he's like, oh yeah, that sounds dead nice. I've no heard of stone soup before, you know. It's like, my wife's rotation of meals are kind of getting a bit tiresome. It's 2 meat, 1 veg, 1 meat, 2 veg, you know, boring. Stone soup, that's different, that's interesting. And he hums and he haws and goes, well, I completely forgot when you came around earlier, but I've got a couple of potatoes. Do you think I could pop them in the soup and have some of that tasty stone soup? And they're like, oh, of course, come along. And before you know it, more and more people of the doors that they had chapped on, they come by and they're like, hey, I got a wee ham hock that I could pop in, and I've got a wee bit of swede, and the broth is boiling away. And next thing you know, this guy rocks up and he's like, I don't have any veg left, I don't have any of this, but I have got a bit of whiskey. Do you think I could have some of that stone soup and I'll bring that whiskey along? And they're like, oh yeah, man, come on, bring that whiskey. So they're all there, they're getting a wee tipple on. Someone's brought some ale, and the local musicians, they've brought a fiddle and a baran, and they're there, and they all get a bowl of this lovely soup. With the rocks removed, of course. And they're there and they're sipping it away, they're getting merry, and the night it starts to take up and it whirls and they're having a good dance. And yeah, well, They wake up the next morning. They may not have so many memories. There was quite a bit of whiskey, but it was a good time. And it was just what that community had needed. They came together. It'd been a while. It was the best night they'd had in a long time. And long after those travellers had been there, every now and again, they'd just have a wee spot of stone soup. Whee! Yeah. I think this is quite a nice tale. It's kind of about, you know, what happens when everyone just brings a little something. You don't have to bring the full production, but just like we have right now, we've got all the different elements coming together. And it's great. And there's still ways that we can make this so, even in these weird, distant times. So now I would like to hand over to the beautiful Sophia.
Thank you, Rose. Hello. So I hope that you have a blanket over your knees and top up that wine over the fire. So this story I'm about to tell you is called I Wanna Be a Lichen. This is about a wee Scottish family, a family of 3. Mum and Dad and 10-year-old Katie. Now Katie was like any other 10-year-old, curious, energetic, a bit cheeky with the parents. She was just starting to get that wit and that sense about herself, because 10 is that weird fuzzy boundary of kid and child. And Dad was an environmental geologist, and he was in a small team, a small conservation team, where he would solve problems of the land and water, sometimes humans and activities or natural processes. But what I'm trying to say is that Katie's dad was a clever bean. And Katie's mum, well, she was a child psychologist. Oh, she loved her job. She was amazing at her job. She had a real knack of making children feel at ease, see their strengths, but she was really funny. Kids found her really funny, and so did Katie. And there was lots of laughter between Katie and her mum. Now this story shows how we have got differences, where our tastes can lie. And it just shows also between Katie, Mum and Dad, they're 2 very different people. But what brought them together was the love of nature. And they actually met rock climbing in the Pyrenees. And Katie came along not long after. And they were a happy family. So this adventure starts with them hiking, and Katie was introduced to hill walking at quite a young age, and she understood the high plateau of the mountains, and especially the Cairngorms is where we're going to start. Perthshire Hills at the Nook, just at that little bit of the Cairngorms, with its tundra-like appearance and its wilderness. And quoting Katie, she loved the Cairngorms because it was jaggy. So it was a September day. It was crisp, it was clear, and it was sunny. The purple heather and the warm slate were glowing. And as they came into a saddle, yes, they did get a bit of dreich rain, but it quickly departed as they ascended up the Munro. Now, there are breathtaking views, but what Katie couldn't keep her eyes off was something she loved. That was lichen. Now, I'm going to quickly, if you don't know about lichen, I'm going to quickly describe it to you. It's one of the oldest living organisms of this planet. It's plant-like, but not a plant. And it has a paint-peeling appearance, and it can grow and colonise on any surface that has enough light and moisture. And enough light and moisture. There's loads of different kinds, but what was pulling in Katie was this particular formation mapped like a continent, and it was growing over this granite. It was bright amber, it was luminous yellow. And as she was tranced by this, Dad was also gooing and admiring the granite that this lichen was growing over. He could see that the mica and the quartz, the minerals inside it were at full dance. He snapped out of his little world and he said, do you know what? If I ever leave this earth, when I leave this earth, I want to be a piece of granite. Oh yeah, it's steeped in minerals, it's crystallized magma, it's ancient. They've used it for centuries for building materials, and you didn't have to talk any folk. I'll just be a piece of rock, be brilliant. Katie's mum laughed because she knew her partner ever so well and knew that this was absolutely true, but still taken aback how he could just come out of nowhere and talk about death. She was like, what? Granite? No, love, I don't think you've got a choice. It's fate that decides what your afterlife is going to be. But if we have a choice, say if we have a choice, I would like to be a human again. You know, I could be teaching kids how to rock climb, or I could be out surfing in South Africa, also teaching children. But no a granite. Now just remember, Katie's mum was a child psychologist, and this purpose in her life was ingrained into her timeline. She didn't want to lose this ability of healing. So this was the route that she knew this was it. This was her afterlife. Now, remember, Katie's listening to all this. And the parents are a little bit, oh, maybe this is a bit dark to talk about. But it's healthy. It's healthy as a family to talk about death. So they turned to Katie. Katie's mum said, okay, Katie, what would you like to come back at in your afterlife? And she's there, she's thinking hard. And she's got that same expression on her face when she's trying to choose the right ice cream. It's got to be right. She's going to eat it. And she says, I think I'm like Dad. I don't want to come back as a human. But I'd really like birds at the moment. I'd love to be a bird. But then, lichen is ancient and full of unknown secrets. No, I would like to be a lichen. I would love to be a lichen, but as long as we stumble upon each other, I don't mind. Oh, Katie's mum and dad were so touched by her response that there was a wonderful, comfortable silence, sending off that Munro back to the car park. A horrible accident happened a few months later after that conversation. A tragic accident. Katie and her mum died in a car accident, leaving Katie's dad to continue life without them. However, eventually, Katie's dad found peace and calm, and so pleased that they had that conversation that day, walking into the Cairngorms. And he could let go with a peaceful heart. Whoosh! There was Katie at 120 kilometres an hour, going into the Loch of Garton, grabbing a brown trout. She was hungry. She was alert. She was a bird of prey. She was an osprey. Oh, her broad band of feathers stretching out in front of her. And her afterlife has just begun. Now, Katie's afterlife was in constant flux. She was finding herself a tiny piece of Bristol blue glass, washing about in the ocean backwards and forwards, being softened, to being a tiny dust particle on a blackbird's neck. And then all of a sudden, holding on for dear life, a lone little hazel tree against the harsh weathers and winters of the Shetland Islands. That she did not enjoy, I have to say. And Mother Nature is not always so kind. She was a tiny little field mouse jumping over barbed wire getting caught and waiting there for days to die. So sometimes it's not always so good. But there were nicer days. So she was a piece of woolen lichen right in front of a shop window, dyed yellow, just waiting to be a jumper, to becoming a beautiful, tall Scots pine tree on top of a hill, watching the world Cayley of Knockengorrick. Oh, the vibrations of the air, of that music that she heard, and took great delight in watching people dance, sing, eat, and reunite. She even saw her own father there, with his new family, smiling and dancing, because life does go on. Now, there is a special, special invitation from Mother Nature and mythology for young children who have been taken away way too quickly from their family. The word revotulet is a Finnish word that means the northern lights, and it translates the firefox. Now, the firefox, legend has it that it's a mystical, elusive creature of the north. And Katie became the firefox. And as she ran fast over the white snow, sparks flew up into the air from her flaming tail, thus creating the aurora. So after a while, after all these lives, this shape-shifting purpose, in and out, Katie began to forget her human life as the young girl Katie. But she did know in each life that there was a purpose. Now, the highlight to Katie was when she was a swallow, and she would journey her winter into warmer climates. She would go past the French Pyrenees, where her parents first fell in love, and she would go through Morocco and across the Sahara until she settled herself onto a nearby tree in Cape Town, South Africa. Now, not so far away, while she was settled in her tree as a swallow, was a young man. Oh, he was so distracted. He was in and out of the house with his surfboard. He was too distracted thinking of his outdoor activities and the classes he had with children. But something caught his eye. It was the red neck of Katie, the red neck of a swallow. And there was a connection. So for a few months, this young man would go past Swallow Katie and say, "Hello, goodbye, how are you?" And Katie would answer back. And in his gut, this young man knew that he knew this swallow. And in fact, this young man was the afterlife of Katie's mum. Now, this beautiful wee relationship carried on for 15 years until Katie the swallow died in harsh conditions and nature found its way. So what next? Katie felt pulled, stretched, and old. Oh, so very old. She felt the rough exterior, but yet vibrant in luminous green. And as she crawled on top of the surface, she realised she was growing on top of a piece of granite, and she was a lichen way into the heart of the Cairngorms. "Hello. I was wondering if you would be here," said Katie's father. Now, as Katie was living her beautiful life as a swallow, Katie's father had died, and yet his wish to become a beautiful, sparkly hard piece of granite became true. Oh, She told him all about her travels, her experiences, how she saw him dance wildly at Knockengorrick with a tin in his hand. And also her experience of meeting a young outdoor instructor in South Africa. They lived together for about 100 years, very comfortably, the granite and the lichen, being part of a unique community of plants, animals and birds, until Mother Nature decided that they had to go their separate ways into their afterlife. So, our afterlife, when we have had our lives before, families are constantly trying to find each other, one form, one way or another, and Mother Nature will find that way. When you're out walking, up in the hills or going through a forest, and you see lichen, just remember to say hello, because it just might be Katie, just might be Katie, living one of her many, many lives. There you go. Yay! Thank you. I love that story because I love lichen.
I liken that story very much.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, Dave. It's all right. Now, I would like to pass on to Rose's second story.
Well, hello, thank you, Sophia.
Aww.
That was such a lovely story.
I'm glad you liked it.
I love the weaving. Such an interesting web in which we have our lives.
Aww.
And yeah, it actually kind of fits quite interestingly, easy for me to say, into the story I'm about to tell next, which this tale hails from Nepal, and it's about a wily woodcutter. So there was this old woodcutter, and he'd been doing this job for years and years and years and years, and he was getting on now, but you know, he knew nothing else. This was his life. This is what he did. He would kind of get up in the morning, get dressed, wash his face, and set out to the woods. And there was this one particular day where he was cutting away, and he was cutting away, and he started to gather his bundle together. And he'd actually cut a lot more than usual. A lot more wood than usual. And as he's there, he bends down, and he's trying to pick up, but no. Tries again. He needed to lift more from the legs, but the legs were just not giving. And he, not really thinking, he just goes, "Oh, if I were dead." Suddenly, beside them, there is this figure. And they whisper in this sort of unknown tone, "Did you call me?" He goes, "Oh, no, not me, no. I didn't call anyone. No, I was just trying to lift my my pile of sticks, but yeah." And he kind of feels this ball of fear swelling in his stomach. And he said, this was death. And death, he knew, he saw through this old man's deception. He was like, "No, I think you called. I think you called me." And the guy said, "No, you see, oh, God." In his head, he kind of goes, "Oh, no, man, like, no chance. This isn't death. Like, come on." And Death sensed his hesitation. Death points over to a woman at a nearby lake. She looks stunned, falls to the ground, and stops moving. Oh, God. The woodcutter thinks, he's like, "What have I got myself in for?" Oh. And then he suddenly remembers, "Oh, yes. I was struggling with my sticks. So, Death, would you mind give us a hand with these? I'm not ready to die. No, not yet." And Death happily obliges. He's like, it's not this man's time yet, but you know, sometimes good to make sure people know what they're doing with their words. So he gives them a hand, and they carry these sticks back down, all the wood, back down to the village. And he's kind of eager to hasten back home, the woodcutter. He's like kind of a bit like, "Oh, it's a bit uncomfortable walking down here with Death, you know." And But the thought occurs to him, he's going, wait, could it not be good to know when is my time? Because I am getting on now, it must be coming. So he kind of goes, Death, how long do I have left anyway? Death looks over and goes, 5 years to this day. Oh, all right then, okay. Well, and they bid goodbye, and he's got his heavy load of wood back at his place. That night, he was just really uncomfortable. He was kind of all riled up, 5 years, that's a lot of time, but there's not a lot of time at the same time. I could do something great with that. And he has his mind racing away, and he kind of goes, asks it to the dream world, and he lays his head down on his bed and sets it for rest. And the next day, when he wakes up, he has the most glorious idea. So he puts on his shoes, puts on his clothes, and he sets off to the forest once more, like he has done for years and years and years before. But this time he is not set about on trying to find wood. No. He is looking for the largest tree he can find. And there it is, this most beautiful, beautiful tree. If there is 7 of him, he wouldn't be able to hug it around it. It was so large. And he sets about his magnus opus, his great, great piece of work. He takes his chisels and he takes his tools and he begins to carve out the inside of this tree with just a little hole that you kind of have to squeeze in to get in, but once you're in, oh my gosh, it was something to see. So for 4 years and 364 days, I had to think about that, he set about working on creating this most elaborate, beautiful temple as a homage to life. And he's there carving these steps, and he's worked hard, but as that day rounds out, he's happy. He's like, I'm pleased, I'm satisfied, I've put my heart, my soul into this work. I shall go home now and I will rest, and tomorrow I shall meet death. And the light fades from the sky and the night time plays out. And he drifts in a nice sort of smooth, liquidy sleep. And when he awakes, sure enough, there is Death beside his bed. And he says to Death, hello, nice to see you, been a while. I have one request. For these last 5 years since we met last, I've been working and I would really like to show you what it is I have created. So together they walked like the opposite way which they had walked before from his house to the forest. And he shows him to this big tree. And they both climb in through this tiny wee hole and they're inside. So Death is taking a look up inside this hollowed out tree house. He's walking up these stairs that spiral around into these little caverns with beautiful, intricate, carved, like delicate, I can't remember the word, wooden bits. Wooden bits, yes. And he goes up and up, Death is going up, and so is the woodcutter. He's like, yeah, I did a pretty good job, didn't I? Ooh. And just as Death is reaching the top of this sort of beautiful carved work, lit by candlelight, of course, because it's dark inside a tree, the woodcutter begins to descend. Quietly, quietly, he creeps down, and he starts to hasten, and he hastens, and he hastens, and he hastens, and he finds himself crawling out the entrance. Death is not heard, and he's not noticed, and he takes a log, and he jams it in, and he secures it, and he secures it in, and he's like, steps away. He's got this nervous energy. I think I did it. I think I did it. So he gives himself a few breaths, and he walks home, leaving Death inside this tree. And he walks home and he gets home. He's a bit creaky, but you know, he's done this thing. He's feeling a little bit chuffed with himself. Still a little bit dubious. He's like, maybe I won't wake up tomorrow, maybe I will. You know, we'll see. So he goes to bed. And he wakes up. He wakes up the next day. And time begins to pass. Time begins to pass. And the animals and the humans and the plants, they grow. They continue to grow. They continue to give birth. Life becomes. But there's no death. And sorry, I lost my track there for a little second. And around everywhere, things continue to grow and illnesses begin to form and people are in pain, and yet there's still no death. And it gets to the point where the gods are starting to notice something is up, something is drastically wrong. They are worried. They go to Lord Shiva, who can don that of the human form, and go, Shiva, there's something up. We need to sort this. So Shiva, he knows who he needs to go visit. He needs to go visit that there woodcutter. So he comes down to earth, and the woodcutter, he is now way beyond his years. He's frail. He is decrepit. He's so sore that he cannot actually lift himself from his resting place. He couldn't even go to the big tree in the forest if he wanted to. And Shiva says to him, "Are you ready now?" And he nods. Yes. Yes. So Shiva helps him up from his bed, and they walk together. This peaceful, kind of nice walk. And when there's a bit of a treacherous ground, he picks him up and carries him. He shows him where the tree is. And they dislodge this log. And so balance is restored. The only thing is that Death, he was quite shaken from this time, locked up, stuck inside. That he begs that he is no longer visible, so that he can be at peace and will not have people try to cheat him out of his necessary and very honourable work. And Lord Shiva oblige. Yeah, I think this is quite a funny wee story, an interesting one about trying to play with these things, and sometimes there is just divine timing and stuff, and it's hard. And I think we often spend our whole lives fearful of these things, yet it's the one truth that we know. You come here and you're going to leave at some point. Yeah. So, hey, take it with ease, go with peace, and pass on to Sophia for the last story.
Oh, what a wonderful story. You said that so beautifully. Oh, I love that. Thank you. So my second story is now going to the cheeky pixies. Oh, yes. It's called Pisky Led. And this story is about my grandmother's dad. So it'll be my great-grandfather. And at this time, he lived in Liscard, and Liscard is in Cornwall. He was a gardener, and he worked in a beautiful big home just up past the moors. So there's a path that takes him from his home past the pub, going past a big section of a forest, little section of beech trees, and just up the moor, and there is the big house. And most mornings he would walk to work and follow the path round. It can be a bit tempting sometimes to take a shortcut. But, you know, he was a sensible chap. Because sometimes, and a lot of the time, especially in autumnal days, you have 4 seasons in one day. And in these forests, the Gulliver forests, oh, it's so dense, you do not want to get lost in there. There's some really boggy and dense sections. So there was one beautiful autumnal day. The colours were in full rave. And he was like, oh God, I'm really hungry and I wanna go for a walk. So he says, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have a little shortcut and I'm gonna get home quicker. It's gonna be an hour off my time and I might even be able to stop by the pub and have a little dram. So he comes down off the moor and he gets to the big section of the beech trees. Ah, the sun is shining and he's thinking, oh yeah, this is a great idea. And as he remembers, he said, right, I'm getting to the Gulliver forests. Okay, so, and he's been playing in this section since he was a little child. He knows this area like the back of his hand. So there's a long bridge that takes you straight over to these 3 big forest boulders. And these forest boulders then takes you onto another path onto the main road, past the pub, which you probably will go in and have a drink, and get home and eat something. And my great-grandfather is going, right, brilliant. And he can see the bridge. So off he goes, goes along, and he gets to the long bridge. And he thinks, oh, how gorgeous. He can hear the trickling of the water. He's admiring the big oak trees that are there. And he's thinking, I've left this way too long not having a shortcut. But on that bridge, the air started to change. It started to get more damp and sticky. And he was like, it's all right. He felt okay. Because, as I said, he was a Cornish lad. He knew this place through and through. And he could see one of the big forest boulders. And off he trotted. And he went along. And it was getting thicker. It was getting foggier. And he got to the boulder. And now it was complete whiteout. But he was still okay. So he went, right, now this is the time. Get my pipe out. Have a little think. And not get worried. So he remembers, he remembers which way the other boulder was. So he orientates himself and goes, right, over there, let go. So off he goes and he trots a bit more and he recognises the path and he goes, oh, I'm good at this. And he goes along and he gets to the second boulder and he puts his hands on that beautiful soft green moss on the rock. And he goes, okay. And he's feeling a bit cocky actually. He goes, there isn't much to see here, but I can beat this. And then he thinks, right, I don't know where the third boulder is. So then he orientates himself again. And he goes, oh, I'll go over this way. And he goes along, and again, he recognises the path. And as he gets to the third boulder, he's got this sense of uneasiness. And he started to realise that these boulders have all looked exactly the same. So he knew. He'd heard it from other people, but he never thought it would happen to him. He had been pisky-led. Now, pixies, I'm going to put on my beautiful hat here. They are well known and they are vibrant in Cornwall. Pixies are of the fairy realm, and the Cornish pixies especially, mischievous, tricksters, love to laugh and giggle, and their favourite game is pisky-led, helping people get lost in the smallest areas. So he was starting to feel a little bit uneasy, because this was a scary thing, being lost in the same section over and over again. And he used to say, I don't believe in pixies. Oh, bet you wish he never said that now, eh? So he remembered what his daughter had said. So, right, what do I need to do? So he reaches into his pocket. And at that time, and maybe it's a little bit older, he reaches in his pocket and it's a farthing. He puts the farthing down and he stands up, he closes his eyes and he turns round 3 times. And all the time he's hoping and praying that the piskies will be good to him. And he stands there for a second, takes out his pipe again, why not? And he opens his eyes. And the fog has lifted and he can see the colours of the oak trees and the big water of the Golotha Falls. And he looks down and the farthing has gone. So, realising that he was walking so slow before, he walks faster and faster. He can see the boulders and he gets back onto that road and nips into the pub. And he tells his pals what had happened. Some of them, the Cornish farmers, they go, oh, yeah, totally, that you piskies, absolutely. And the others were like, no, we don't believe in pixies, no. So, if you don't believe in piskies, be prepared. Have a coin in your pocket because they will play tricks on you. There we go. Oh, yeah, no, a lot of my family are Cornish and my grandmother told me lots of stories about piskies and she believed in them. Oh, watch the piskies. And so, yeah, I've got a real kinship with the Cornish pixie.
So, my granny was Cornish.
Ooh, there you go. Probably related.
My granny wasn't.
Oh.
Bless her, Joan Outhwaite. Ran away with my grandfather in a half-track tank, I think.
Oh,
Wow.
But he wasn't no pixie.
oh, you are, Dave. You're a pixie.
Maybe just a little bit.
Cool, that was fabulous. Thank you so much.
Beautiful stories. So nice.
Thanks for having us. It's been
Thank
It's
a
a very
you.
wholesome
So
vibe
lovely.
that I'm about to completely and utterly obliterate.
Oh,
Oh, come on.
No, it's not true.
no, you won't, mate.
I will say one thing, it's weird the way things work out, because you guys have written, well, the stories that you've shared have kind of been very nature-centric, and we didn't discuss any of this stuff beforehand, and I don't know, a lot of the songs that I've come up with recently have been kind of about similar, not about pixies, but, about nature and things in some sense, but I'm not a storyteller, as you can tell from my pattern. But I've got a few tunes.
Hey, great. Crack on. Give us a tune, Chris.
All right. How did we come so far from you, my love? How did we run so wild by orange light? The moon shines bright overhead, and I'm so alone. My friends, they're all lost in dead. I can't help feeling we could do better. Well, I'm struggling with the city, rules, obsessions, and greed. So many people playing the fool. Well, it's true that the poison never tasted so sweet, but when there's nothing left. You and I can't help feeling we could do better. We could do so much better. Oh, melody, show me the way. Take up these hands and wash all these lies away. I'm praying for the day. Melody, mark out the path, give us our wrongs and help us to heal these scars, 'cause we've been so afraid. We've been so afraid. Melody, show me the way. Take up these hands and wash these lies away. I'm praying for the day. Melody, mark out the path, give us our wrongs and help us to heal these hearts, 'cause we've been so afraid. We've been so afraid.
Hey, yeah.
That was stressful. Thank you. It's a brand new tune. This new song, there's no gigs at the moment, so this is I'm taking a few risks tonight. I played all the easy ones last time, so we're just trying a few things, but
You've got like a proper audience.
have I?
Well, you've got look.
Oh, I
You've
know.
got, like,
Real humans behind the glass.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You've got, like, I mean,
Nice.
Such beautiful humans as
Yeah.
well. So colourful. It's very
stop
nice.
it.
this is the future of gigs. It's,
Yeah,
like,
what
it's
am I
just
gonna
going to
say?
be like lots of glass cubicles.
Absolutely.
Or lots of air.
It's
Not
very,
fire.
it just feels very what's the word? It's like festival-y vibe. You mentioned festivals a few times. It's cool. It's nice to get out of the house and all that.
Oh, isn't it
Yeah.
just?
Have you brought your tents, ladies?
I've got a big jacket.
Sorry, Dave.
Oh, you need a tent for.
Did you bring yours?
Yeah. It's for like
One
pretend I'm
man
at a
tent.
festival, right?
I rocked up to the first time I ever rocked
I
up.
told
to
you
a
I was going to
festival.
wreck the wholesome vibe.
Okay. Well, wreck us with another one, please, Chris.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to play a song called Arthur's Song. Yeah, let's crack on. I'm headed for the hill. Lord knows I've had my thrill. My body's cold and tired. Sunshine on your church spire. I can see for miles around. Don't wanna come down, but it's not the place we left. I choose love instead. We're climbing higher still, waiting for our hearts to fill. Wearied by desire. Sunshine on the old church spire. I can see for miles around. Don't wanna come down,
but it's not the place we left. I choose love instead. So what if I'm the fool? I take my chance to run around with you and see beyond the trees, the sky above by the gentle breeze. What if I'm the fool? Yeah, take my chance to run around with you and see beyond the trees, the sky above by the gentle breeze. See for miles around, yeah, I wanna come down, but it's not the place we left. I choose love instead.
Yeah. Woo.
This is dead yummy.
There you go. It's not often that the audience have microphones that they can speak back to you with, Chris. That's
Especially
unusual.
like when you've got really cheeky audience members as well. So it gets fun. It's good. No, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. Why not? Thanks for inviting me back, Dave. You guys are doing a fine job here.
Hey, thanks, man.
It's beautiful. It keeps, every time I come here, it gets a bit fancier. We've got new glass walls, and I think they're called windows.
That's right. Yeah, these are pixie windows. I think, aren't they?
Whiskey lead ones, eh?
Ah,
Keep them in. Might darken things up a little bit, Dave. Hope that's all right.
yeah, man. I like the darkness.
I was
No.
chatting. I was chatting to my friend Jamie Ross. I'm going to play a song that we wrote together, but he reminded me of an old tune of mine that I've not played in a while. So I'll probably make a mistake, but because most of you've never heard it, it won't matter. So that's cool.
It'll be correct in another
Yeah, well, I wrote it. So if it's
multiverse
wrong, then it's,
somewhere.
yeah. This is live music, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, here I go, chatting too much. Let's crack on with the tunes. Jumping in from pond to pond, sinking in to fall back on, waiting here from time to time, waiting on the safety line. One man, he said to me, I'm not above the contradictory. Words strike a memory, the modest truth inside of me. I stepped onto the looking glass as I leave through the tall grass, afraid of all we've known for years. Dream away our darkest fears now. Turns an orange glow, brightest stars, not real, you know. I found you on a distant shore, afraid of all that lies below. It's cold like a stony silence, flickering like dust. Some say these things are not for us. I say hold on to the pieces, watch it all be lost. I heard
across the field. But you don't seem the same to me at all. Dangling from a silken thread, hiding from the beasts. Gold lies, a distant mind, carry me away from here. They broke into my house, they ransacked all my memories. I climb among the rusted iron bridge between our two cities. Stomach turns an orange glow, brightest stars not real. You know I found you on a distant shore, afraid of all that lies below. It's cold like a stony silence, flickering like dust. Some say these things are not for us. I say hold on to the pieces, watch it all be lost. Across the field, but you don't seem the same to me at all. Heard you call across the field, but you don't seem the same to me at all. Ooh, no, yeah. Ooh, yeah. You don't seem. Ooh. You don't seem the same to me at all.
Got away with that.
Yay. So you've released an EP, Chris, haven't you?
Have you on the Bandcamp?
On the Bandcamp.
I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's bought it already. I've had an unprecedented response, which was quite encouraging. I'm usually a bit of a perfectionist, so I've recorded, as you very well know, Dave, in this very room. We have laboured over very many recordings, and I'm just always messing about, trying to change things. And
yeah, we must have put in like a sort of a ratio in terms of hours to outputs. It's somewhere around about 2.5 weeks per minute.
Probably something like that. I've still got all of those recordings, but yeah, it was nice to just go, you know what, forget all that. I'm just going to do something now and then see what the response is, and then I've got a bunch of other things, collaborations that are in the works.
Once you get signed up, I'll send a bill to the record company, and then we'll be quids in.
Yeah, there are no record companies anymore, Dave. This is it, man. This is the temple of creativity right here.
Right enough. Okay.
That's the last bastion of freedom and of expression.
At least we've got a couple of storytellers trapped in the booths.
Absolutely.
So
it's funny you should mention that, Dave.
It's called the Old Oak Sessions.
It is. Yeah, I'm going to try that tune.
Yeah, get on Bandcamp if you haven't already and have a look.
Yeah, you can listen to it for free, and you can support me if you want to. Also, support LimbicTV. First of all, definitely donate something to Limbic for this evening, and for just what they do in general, because it keeps getting better, and it's the only way it can continue. But if you also want to buy my EP, that's great too, and I'll send you a personal thank you.
Yeah. Give Chris some money, and give us some money. There we go.
I'll exchange it for music. Yeah, I'm gonna have a go at that tune, although it is pretty new, so there's a high chance that I'll make a mistake. But nothing like feeling confident.
Okay. It's a Scottish way. Let's hear it, Chris.
A song can heal 1,000 words. This love could heal 1,000 hurts. It's not because we think we're better, bringing in the brighter weather. Sit down by the old oak tree. Can't explain what it means to me. Close your eyes and you'll hear her whisper a timeless song that reminds you of us. Streets are paved with dirt and faded dreams. Geometric shapes, it's an ugly scene. Everybody's acting king and queen. Don't give away your power. Squirrels are collecting all year round. They just love to steal what we have found. They can chase their tails around and around, and we won't say a word. No, I love you like the morning sun. It's just the living years got me on the run. All these preachers with the tricks and ego, trying to make paupers of our heroes. Protectors of some hidden truth. There's a peace if you learn how to stoop. Better off some time alone, 'cause you and I know better. Turn the page oh so many times. I could write 100 books all filled with lies. Quick words are cheap, it cost us dear. Are we just surviving here? Take a moment to forget it all, to remember what it was we nearly lost. So much more than just a passing flame. Whenever I hear your name, but don't get me wrong, this is not some postcard, some long lost love. Not pining at the moon. If you feel your heart, then you know the truth. Yeah. Yeah, don't get me wrong, this is not some postcard, some long lost love. Not pining at the moon. If you feel your heart, then you know the truth. So no, I love you like the morning sun. It's just the living years got me on the run. All these preachers with the tricks and ego, trying to make paupers of our heroes. A song can heal 1,000 hurt. This love can heal 1,000 hurt. It's not because we think we're better, it's bringing in the brighter weather.
Woo.
Hey.
I don't play double bass. I'm looking for a double bass player.
I know a guy, but he's in Berlin.
Berlin. Yes. Anyway, cheers. Oh, honestly, the stress factor is high.
That kind of got me quite excited. It was all that up tempo.
I know. I thought I'd try and do something a little bit more bouncy.
And did I see dancing?
Dancing Pixies. It was awesome. And roses.
I listened to that on the train actually. It was wonderful to have a bit of time to myself and to that. Lovely.
Thanks so much. Don't worry, I'm going to bring it right back down again. This is the song that I was talking about that I wrote with Jamie Ross. We've been discussing. We're negotiating at the moment for more collaborations. He's a phenomenal musician, writes music for a film now, so hopefully we can get something together.
Yeah.
It's all about collaborating online now, apparently, because we're all stuck in our houses.
Yeah, write some music for a film. That's it.
I don't know. I think you just have to write the music, and then if somebody likes it and puts it in a film, then you get paid.
Yeah.
I think that's how that works.
I've been watching Junkie XL. It's
You what for?
Do you know Junkie XL? He's kind of like, he's a Dutch DJ, basically. And he's moved into doing film. And he's done Mad Max, and he's done Batman and Superman and all kinds of things. So he's just made loads of videos about how he writes music for films. It's like, so get into the film business.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm open to offers. If anyone's digging the tunes and they want to put them in a film and pay me a fortune, that's
Okay.
fine. By me.
I'll look through my Rolodex.
But it's not all about material things, is it, Dave?
Well, no, it's just about getting to do stuff that's got somewhere to go, right?
Truthfully and honestly, it's about getting enough to keep doing what you're doing. So donate to Limbic TV.
Yeah, man.
I'm so giddy. I think it's all this clarity.
It's the first
Didn't have enough beer before this.
It's the first time you've been anywhere other than Scotland in
I don't go to Scotland.
3 months.
Stop name dropping. You need to get a sponsorship. That's what you need for this channel.
Planet
Sponsorship.
sponsored by Scotland.
Maybe not Scotland. Could be worse.
I love it. Sponsored by the Scotland
Mate, get
Best
down to,
Before bin.
get down to Way to Go. Good local business. Aye.
Yeah. Okay, somebody sponsor us, please. Knickknacks, nice and spicy knickknacks. Oh, yeah. Honestly,
You're already just giving them free advertising. They're not going to sponsor you now, are they?
I would wear the t-shirt, the underpants, everything.
Wear the crisps on the t-shirt and the underpants.
You can make sleeping bags out of crisp packets that like keep people really warm at night who are homeless. So there's a thing. Eat a bunch of crisps, make a
What?
sleeping bag for folk.
Really?
Yeah,
This is new
no, it's totally a
information.
thing. Like it's a thing. There's
What
this
happens
like
if you smoke?
you don't smoke in bed, otherwise you burn the sheets. Anyway,
Right.
Off topic.
back to the music.
Okay, so this is the tune I wrote with Jamie Ross called Open Light. I hope you enjoy it.
Open light in the palm of my hand, porcelain, you still hold a key to my heart. Ice you broke from across the void we once held, smoking gun furling in monochrome light, and I still hear your voice. Holding back the words and guts we once spilled together. Like, won't you stay forever now? Here, 'cause I'm just one seed that found a home among the trillions never sown, and beauty's never left alone. Really loved him and never known. I still hear yours. And I still never know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great to hear you play and sing again, Chris.
Oh, thanks so much. I've been practicing. Just for you. Because you gave me some notice this time.
Yeah, sometimes I just wake up and go, oh, I need to do this right now. And, yeah.
Isn't that the way of energy sometimes? It's like the call of inspiration, it comes and you go, this is the time! No!
Yeah, that in poverty is a great motivator.
Caroline Uni says there's nothing like a bit of live storytelling and live music for and then it stops. I hope she's okay.
Mysterious.
Mystery, intrigue.
Yeah. And Jackie Pankhurst says sounding great. Derek Uni. So lovely,
Legend.
lovely to hear some new tunes. And Ragnar N.
Ragnar.
Tiersrud?
That's the one. In Norway. Good lad.
Norway, hey. Hey Ragnar, hello Norway.
Top effort. He's about to put out a CD as well. Well,
Is
he's
he?
about to put out a single that he just recorded. He sent me it today. It's beautiful.
Wow, great. Hello Ragnar.
Oh, I forgot to say something. I need to say a thank you to John McRae, who helped record the EP that we just did, because without his patience, it never would have happened, probably. It's nice to have someone pressing the buttons and setting up microphones and things, and he was kindly offered to help with that, so that was cool.
Great. Nice one. They sound great. I bought them on Bandcamp the other day. Low V says, good stories, girls.
Stories are great.
Hey. What have you got for us next?
I'm going to play a tune called The Seasons. What are you giggling about?
I'm sorry, I just can't contain my silliness. I'm trying, but it's hard.
No, don't contain it. Just we got a whole box that you can use to full effect.
Anyway.
This is a tune that I wrote when I was busking around. It's called The Seasons. It's kind of the closest I'll get to a story, I suppose. Anyway, it's about what is it about? I don't know. You'll figure it out. Wow.
See, you're ready to quit it all. You light another cigarette. Told me that you saw the signs but never knew what they meant. You tell me that you're all alone, looking out for number one, when all you ever needed was a clear view of the sun. I don't know what all that means. Yeah, I'm just watching the seasons, singing songs after the rain. You say when it gets colder, you're headed to the south of France. Gonna find a girl out there who remembers how to dance. She may tell you that the moon of love is mapped out beyond the stars. we don't have to go that far. I don't know what all that means. Yeah, I'm just watching the seasons, singing songs after the rain. You said, hey boy, I've got no money, could you spare a corner or two? I made my way with songs about running, I'll sing one for you. You said, hey, it's all for nothing, try but they'll cut you down. I'm about to leave this town. I don't know what all that means. Yeah, I'm just watching the seasons, singing songs after the rain. I don't know what all that means. Yeah, I'm just watching the seasons, singing songs after the rain. Watching the seasons, singing songs after the rain. I don't know what all that means. Hey, I'm just watching the seasons, singing songs after the rain.
Thank you. That's a tough one.
It's nice to hear that again.
Cool. Should I just carry on?
Yeah.
I know they judge anyway, so it doesn't matter what I say. Oh God, I own song to play. All I know is it's a beautiful thing when you find it. Don't be afraid, we don't have to hide it. Searching for new stars to wish on, dreaming of soft lips to kiss on, running from the same old fear. Cause all I know is it's a beautiful thing when you find it. Don't be afraid, we don't have to bind it. I know we're not the same, I don't long for yesterday, but I love your heart, I hope that you might stay. But I know we're not the same, I don't long for yesterday, but I love your heart. You should know that I love your heart. It's a beautiful thing when you find it. Don't be afraid, yeah, it's a beautiful thing when you find it. Don't be ashamed. the stars to be shown, reaching for softly. It's a beautiful thing when you find it. Don't give in.
Hey.
Okay, I got 2 more songs,
Cool.
if it's allowed.
I'll consult the fat controller.
You are the fat controller, Dave.
Hey.
You're
Is
not that. You're not fat,
Okay.
and you're not that controlling either. So what are you doing?
Yeah.
here?
What is it? Is it a controller that's fat, or is it somebody that controls the fat? I just which way
Yes,
around
yeah.
is it? I've seen the real Thomas the Tank Engine in Wales.
pretty deep.
It's like, but
Pretty deep.
yeah. What's Thomas the Tank Engine got to do with the fat controller?
He's from He's from Thomas the Tank. Don't you know anything about
No.
Thomas the Tank Engine? The fat controller was the. Come on,
Oh,
Dave. That's where that
see,
comes
right.
from. The fat
I thought it came from the BBC.
Never mind, though. Eh?
Yeah, never mind. Okay. All right, give us another song then.
Okay.
Well, there won't be much left after the feast and the famine that follows. With some kind of ease in these words and no help at all. For solving the puzzles, no puzzle at all. What follows should keep us in peace, and that's one thing I need. Too much time spent inside the cube will lead to more than bruising. Will make a difference what oils and creams we're using, all the colors of our skin, houses that we're in, jokes at which we laugh at, the songs to which we are listening are nothing but etchings and guillotine blades, filling our days with endless details, keeping our heads, chasing our tails. Well, I'm holding my chin, 2 fingers above the waves. Come down from your horse, my friend. Open up your eyes and lay down your weapons. When the cold comes rolling in, you better believe there'll be no hiding for you and me. Lifted thin but etchings, guillotine blades, filling our days, endless details, keeping our heads, chasing our tails. Well, I'm holding my chin. So come down from your horse, my friend. Open up your eyes and lay down your weapons. When the cold comes rolling in, you better believe there'll be no hiding. Come down, come down now.
Hey, yeah.
Thank you. That one goes out to, well, everyone, but also Shona, because she asked for it last time.
Okay.
I imagine, I don't know if she's listening, but she might be, and she might watch it back, so I appreciate her reminding me of that the last time I was here, because I never planned to play it, because it's
Yeah, that's right.
kind of complicated.
Yeah. It's complicated.
One doesn't like to try too hard.
Life's complicated, Chris.
I'm going to attempt to finish on a new one. If it goes really badly, I'll maybe just do one closer.
Okay. John McRae says, congrats on the release of the new EP, Phenomenal Tunes.
He's a good lad.
Hey.
Said that 3 times now. So this is my love story to Mother Nature by divine coincidence or something of that nature. Anyway, it goes like this. Thanks so much, Dave. And thanks again to Rose and Sophia for their wonderful stories, and to everyone listening. Buy an EP, support LimbicTV, all that good stuff.
Bring me the strength to carry on. Bring me the light that feeds my soul. Love, heal my wounds. As if I walked 1,000 miles, the better place could I ever find to lay my head down, cool my own. You're never alone with a smile close to your heart. Turn my hands to a starry sky. Give up ever asking why. Loving you receive, that's what I know. She's got everything you need, the mountain tops and the precious seeds, everything that's in between my love. You're never alone with a smile close to your heart. You're never alone with a smile close to your heart. Show me your birds and your ancient trees. Give 2 left under the evergreens. Show us how to live. Brings me the strength to carry on. Bring me the light that feeds my soul. And the love, heal my bones. You're never alone with a smile close to your heart. You're never alone with a smile close to your heart. Show me your birds and your ancient trees, gifts I found under the evergreens. Bring us peace, show us how to live. As if I lived 1,000,000 lives, no sweeter song could I ever find, no better place to call my home. You're never alone with a smile close to your heart. You're never alone, never alone, never alone. You're never alone with a smile close to your heart. You're never alone with a smile close to your heart.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Hey, brilliant. There's a comment I have to read out here. Christina Masberg. I remember meeting you many years ago in the Berlin U-Bahn
All right.
and how you talked about your music. Thank you for your art.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Christina.
Hello, Berlin from Edinburgh.
I know, right?
Hey.
Not bad.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Dave.
Do you want to do another song?
Not really.
Okay. That's okay. That's cool.
I think we'll leave it there.
That was great. That was brilliant. Just sitting listening to you playing. That was brilliant. Listening to Rosamund McCormack.
Yeah, man.
And,
Thanks for putting it all together, Sophia.
and Sophia Ann West.
Hello.
Hey, what's it like being on the other side of the camera, Sophia?
Oh, I love it.
Do you?
Aye.
I thought you might. Brilliant. Okay, thank you for joining us, everyone. If you want to donate to us, you can. Just follow the donations link in the video descriptions. We're back next Saturday with Kirstin Alley, who'll be fabulous, who have sort of had in here before in the form of... Catherine Alley. Sorry, I'm a muppet. She's been here in the form of samples in Midi Paul's set. And go and check out Midi Paul on Bandcamp as well. He's got some great stuff there as well, worth investing $5 in. Go and check out Chris on Bandcamp. After that, we have Jemima Hughes and Tim Lane. That'll be brilliant. Really looking forward to that. And then the Blue Giant Orchestra. Coming up in February. Be well and be safe. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.